The former Northwest MEC Wendy Nelson and the former Health HOD Thabo Lekalakala have been found not guilty of fraud. The two were facing charges relating to the appointment of Lekalakala as Superintendent-General at the Department of Health. Our reporter Bafedile Moerane is following that story and joins us now live. Bafedile, a very good afternoon to you. A sigh of relief from Lekalakala and co. Give us some details as to the verdict that was meted out this afternoon.
Well, indeed, it's a sigh of relief for both of them. We spoke to the former MEC of Finance, Wendy Nelson, who's saying that for over 2 years, this matter been dragging and affecting her, but she has told us that she has always slept peacefully because she knew that he has done nothing wrong in this regard. So we understand that according to the presentation of the National Prosecuting Authority here at the Northwest High Court, Dr. Lekalakala, who's the former HOD of the Department of Health, had presented wrong information, in particular in his Z83 documents, where he has indicated that he was the chief director, instead of indicating, according to the CV, that he was acting on that particular position. So we understand that was one of the requirements, but the court is saying that the National Prosecuting Authority failed to prove beyond to say that it was just a mistake which was done by the PA of Dr. Lekalakala at that particular time, who filled that particular Z83 form. And we understand that Wendy Nelson failed to present more information to the then Premier Supra Mahumapelo regarding Dr. Lekalakala's information, but the court said the NPA also failed to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. So I will talk to the NPA spokesperson in the Northwest to hear from them as to what would they make out of all the court ruling today that the NPA failed to prove beyond what has been presented before the court. Mr. Mamutame, you spoke to us in the morning telling us that you are confident enough that you have presented all the facts before the court, but we had the judge here saying that the state also failed to bring the former Premier Supra Mahumapelo to come and testify here, as well as the then MEC of Health, Dr. Mahome Masike. What's the next step? What do you have to say about the judgment having the both accused acquitted?
Thanks, Baf. Let me start off by saying we take note of the judgment, quite a lengthy judgment, and we accept it and we respect it. But equally, we are duty-bound to thoroughly go through the judgment to see if there are no areas where the judge may have erred, for us to decide our next move. But at this point in time, we accept the judgment and all the points that were highlighted by the judge when making the judgment today in this courtroom.
We understand that the former MEC for Agriculture, Manketse Tlhape, as well as Professor Job Mokgoro, who was the director at the Office of the Premier, were also part of the panel, but they were not called by you as NPA here to testify. Why basically you did not call such people to strengthen your case?
Well, let's not discuss our modus operandi in terms of the approach on this particular case. How we approached it, we were convinced that the evidence led was sufficient. The list of witnesses that we had, we felt that those people would be able to help us, persuade the court and have a different outcome from what we had today. So that modus operandi cannot be discussed right here, right now. But give us time to go through the judgment, and if we feel that the judgment is correct, we'll let it be, and accept the acquittal as Judge Ronald Hendricks has read it today.
Well, thank you so much, Henry. He's the spokesperson for the National Prosecuting Authority. As you hear him, that they're still going to study that particular judgment there, Tammy. So both the accused have been acquitted, and they say that they feel vindicted because it's over 2 years this matter has been dragging from, the lower court to where it is today, which is the Northwest High Court. So it's back to you.
Well, thank you very much for that update. Is this then the end as far as the legal woes for Lekalakala, or is there more to this? Because there have been several charges that have been meted out against him.
For him, he has another separate case. This is in relation, I'm talking about Dr. Lekalakala here. This is in relation to the Gupta-linked Mediosa company, where he procured 2 mobile clinics, which are not even functional as we speak to you today, at a cost of 30 million rand. So that particular case is still before the court of law. It has been investigated by the Hawks, and he was arrested the very same year when he was arrested in relation to this particular matter, where he has been acquitted today, Tammy. So we will follow that particular case to hear what exactly it is happening with that, because we understand that also the SIU has withheld his pension funds from the Department of Health until that particular matter it is done and dusted. So we understand that also the Department of Health in the Northwest, they are saying that they are intending to auction those particular 2 mobile clinics that are currently in a place called Setlagole. It is just outside Mahikeng, because they've never been used after being procured from this particular Gupta-linked company, Mediosa, Tabi. So we will definitely have to follow up as to how far it is that particular case against Dr. Andrew Thabo Lekalakala.
What bearing does this then have, Bafedile? Because the reason why I believe Dr. Lekalakala was actually released from his duties was because of this alleged misrepresentation. So if now the courts come out and say that he's not guilty of fraud and misrepresenting his qualifications, and that indeed it was a mistake, what bearing does that have then on the position that he lost because of this accusation?
Well, of course, Tammy, that's correct. We'll just have to go and talk to the Department of Health in that regard to hear from them to say now Dr. Lekalakala has been acquitted, and you have also fired him from his position because of this matter that he has misrepresented his qualifications. What's the step now from your side as the department? Are you going to reinstate him, or what's going to happen? Because we should also look into the fact that it's not only this matter. Among others, it's this issue that I've been talking about of the Gupta-linked company, Mediosa, where he authorized payments for this particular tender, where we saw even the former Minister of Health at the time descending down here in the Northwest, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, having to say that this particular tender was used just as an ATM to get money from the Northwest and give it to the Gupta-linked company, Mediosa. So we will definitely go and try to engage the Northwest Department of Health, hear from them that what's the next step now, because now Dr. Lekalakala has now been acquitted from his position, because we tried to engage him there. He refused to talk to us, saying that the media has never gave him any chance from the start of this particular trial or this case. So we will go and speak to the Provincial Department of Health here to hear the next step as to whether we should expect his reinstatement, because now he's a free man. He has been acquitted from all the allegations that he misrepresented information about his qualifications.
A very interesting one there indeed, Bafedile, and it will be quite interesting as well to find out if Dr. Lekalakala is going to try and, scoop back some of those lost earnings for all the time when he was not in that position. But thank you so much for that update. We'll be keeping abreast of developments on your front.